All right, good morning, everyone. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. Today is Thursday, the 8th of June, day 15 of our program, of our AWD1100 C# programming class. And today you're going to be taking the hands-on test for chapters 1 through 8, or Hot 3. All right, so far we've taken one test on chapters 1 to 3. That was Hot 1. One on chapters 4 to 6. That was Hot 2, and this is Hot 3. You're going to write the same program twice. The first time you write it, you're going to use arrays, and you're going to use the data validation that was shown up on approximately page 219 of our text. So I'm going to run it for you, but first let's take a quick look, because basically it's almost laid out the same way for both problems. So look, if you look on here, each question, there are two questions, are worth 50 points. The first is you lay out the controls as shown. So in other words, when you write the program, it should look like this. And when you look at this, you notice that it has 1, 2, 3, 4 labels, 1, 2, 3, 4 text boxes, and these 3 right here, they're read-only. All right. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons. That is your layout. So if you lay out the controls the way they're shown, that's 2 points. If you rename your form, if you set your form text, if you set your accept and cancel button, your start position, and your tab order, each one of those is worth a point. So as you can see, because I'm not asking you to do anything I wouldn't do. So when you look, if I click over here, you'll notice that my accept button is set. Oops. And it's set to first name because I just clicked on it. That's why I screwed it up. But mine is for search first name. My cancel button is set. And I typically set it to clear. I don't know why it was set to exit, but it's set to clear. My start position is set to center screen. All right, I have renamed the form to FRM address book. I have changed the text on here to address book 1-arrays. And finally, if I go and view my tab order, you'll notice it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's all been set, and that's what I'm asking you to do. If you do those first two things, if you set that up, and you do all the renaming and setting, etc., that's 8 points. If you use controls and names that follow naming conventions, in other words, again, if I come back to this, what you'll notice on here is mine are named FRM address book, BTN clear, BTN exit, BTN search first name, BTN search last name, BTN search salary, again our form, LBL first name, LBL last name, LBL salary, LBL search term, TXT first name, TXT last name, TXT salary, and TXT search term. So if you do that, all right, that's another 2 points. Now, I'm not going to show you a lot of the rest of it because that's the problem. You should set up 3 arrays. One array that will hold all the first names, one array that will hold all the last names, one array that will hold all of the salaries. All right. They will be used to search the data and to display the data. You will use one or more loops, depending on how you read this, to search for users. If you fail, you should display error messages. So if you fail, did I show a failure on here? I don't even know if I did. There, something like that. So for last name, I put in the word last name and clicked the last name button. There wasn't anyone with the last name of last name, so it gave error for everything. All right. User can search for a user by a full first name or just a partial first name, by a full last name or a partial last name, or by salary. Salary has to be between 1,000 $1,000 I'm sorry, it was, what did I say on mine? I don't remember. Let's say 25,000. We use 25,000 and 100,000 M. And again, use constants. Okay? I haven't sent this out yet, so this should be fine to do it like this. Well, let me fix that. All right. The program must correctly contain and implement the is present, the is decimal, the is within range functions. You'll notice that collectively those are worth 12 points. All right, and finally, the program should correctly display the first name, the last name, and the salary of the found user. All right, so if you look here, and I have to make sure that I give you the names and stuff of the users. I thought I had done that, but I guess I didn't. So let me run this. I will make sure that you're given all that information for the users. All right, so I come in here. There is one user with the first name of Markel, M-A-R-K-E-L. If I put in Markel and hit enter, there it finds it. If I clear, I can also do a partial search or a partial name enter. So if I just put in Ma, it finds it as well. Now, there's a person with a last name of D-I-G-G something. So if I type in D-I-G-G and I click first name, it doesn't find anything because there's no one with the first name of Dig. However, if I put in Dig and I click search last name, Markel, I guess it's the same person, Markel Diggory. All right, and there's their salary. Finally, let's just look at that salary here, 54321. So I'm going to clear and put in a salary of, how about 44444? Is there anybody? No, there isn't. So it comes up with errors. If I do it again and put in 54321, I again get the same Markel Diggory. All right. So those are the ways that you should search. You should be using the is present for all three fields. And for the salary field, you should also be using the is decimal and is within range. All right, I think that's pretty much it for this one. Let me close this and let me open up the other one, which is going to look remarkably the same, except of course it's a different color. So you can see it does not virtually look the same, it is the same. So again, if I come in here and I run this one, I'll use the same kind of thing I put in before. So I'll put in Mar for Markel. Okay, and you can see it finds it. I can clear that. I can put in Dig for the last name and it finds it. And I can put in 54321, okay, and for the salary, and again it finds it. If I put in something that doesn't exist for the first name, I get an error. Or if I put in something that doesn't exist for the last name, I get an error. Or if I put in stuff, if I leave it blank, notice I put in both my own message, first name required, and I put in the system message. Kind of nice to do that. Same kind of thing for the last name, same kind of thing for the salary. For the salary, if I put in something non-numeric, I also get this, numeric salary required. And then as it says, one of the identified items was in an invalid format. That's the system message. If I put in something that's out of range, salary must be between 25 and 40. It was out of range. All right, so for this one, the way that this one changes as opposed to the previous one, notice what's the same. And let's notice what's different. First of all, of course, the first one was named. Make sure you name them this too. Hot 3 GUI array. The second one should be named Hot 3 GUI lists. Whereas the first one used 3 arrays, this second one is going to use 3 lists. I put in a couple URLs that may help you if you run into problems. Here is a thing with some C# programming from programiz.com on arrays. And on this one, I have that on lists, and I have another thing in there on exceptions. All right, which may help you. Now for this second one then, you are going to pull out, in other words, I don't want you to use is present. I don't want you to use is decimal. I don't want you to use is within range. Instead, you are to write those using try-catch blocks and catch the appropriate errors. Don't just catch exception. Catch the correct errors, the correct exceptions. How can you do that? Once you get the interface written, run the program without any exception handling, and you'll see the kinds of exceptions you can get. All right. Again, the controls must be laid out as shown. If you just copy it from the first to the second, that's 2 points. If you copy it, you'll have to go back in and rename the form, reset the form text, reset the accept button, cancel button, and start position, and reset the tab order. I'm just warning you. Do it for both. That's 8 points, 16 points collectively. So if you forget to do that, that's 84 points. You're already down to a low B. All right. Controls, text boxes should start with TXT. Labels should start with LBL. Buttons should start with BTN, and they should have good names. Variable names, again, should have good names. If you don't like the way I use LCV in my loop control variable, that is the one time it is totally considered acceptable for you to put in IJK or whatever you want to use. You must incorporate lists into this. Again, if you get confused, take a look at the URL that's down here, and just like before. All right. Use loops. If it fails, so if it doesn't find something, give error, like is shown here, and I've already shown you examples. You can, again, do a full name or a partial first name search, a full name or a partial last name search, and a salary. But again, with the salary, make sure that, as shown, you set it up a range for salary. So use constants. I like call mine, I set mine up as a decimal constant as min salary and max salary, 25,000 and 100,000. Again, the key thing here is you must use try-catch blocks and exception handling for all the data validation. So do not use, in fact, pull out from this program. Do not have an is present and is decimal as in and is within range. There's no sense having it in there because they're not being used. So again, I've shown you program runs. There is an error run. There's a run when you search for the first name. There is an error run when you search for the last name. Same thing. There is an error run when you search for the salary. All right. And again, with the other one, just so you see some of the other records that are in here, here's putting in nothing. So it says salary is a required field. Here is LUI for a first name. Here is ADD. And notice the case insensitivity. It doesn't matter. There's a salary search. So what I'm going to do in just a couple minutes is I'm going to put the table right here. So you've got the all of the input and the output stuff. I thought I saved it yesterday, but evidently I didn't. All right, so I'll have to go back and find that. I'll do that. I'm going to send this out to you. It'll be sent out within about, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes or so. It'll be out there by 7 o'clock. I will be online for the day today. All right. So when I say online, what I mean is I'm not going to start up a Teams session today. All right. But I will be available via email at jpscott@rankin.edu. All right. I will be online and I will be checking because I'm going to be doing other work today to get ready for next week's classes. Next week, we're going to cover chapters 9, 10, and 11. All right. But If you have questions, email me at jpscott@rankin.edu. As always, this test will be due. All right, as always, this test will be due by midnight tonight. Finally, if you're behind on homework, I tried to send you an email, but if you look in the grade book right now, all right, you should have zeros for any late work that you have. If you partially completed something, you get a grade for what you partially completed. All right. With all that said, I hope you have a good weekend. On Monday of next week, we will go over probably Chapter 9 and Chapter 10. That's the plan right now. Tuesday, we will go over Chapter 11. Then we will look at least probably a couple of these problems in here. There's only 5 of them. All right, so we'll look at a couple of them. There are going to be no projects that you have to do for the chapters 9, 10, and 11. All right, so Monday of next week, I'll probably lecture on 9 and 10. Tuesday, I'll lecture on 11, and we'll go through some problems and look at some stuff. Wednesday of next week, you know the drill kind of by now. So Wednesday of next week, we will go over a pretest for chapters 9 through 11, and Thursday, 1 week from today, you'll take that. What that means is we'll be 19 days into the class and basically halfway through the book. All right, but we're going to slow it way the hay down after that. And what I mean by that is the following week, we are going to, come on. The following week, we are going to begin object-oriented programming. So that's not next week, it's the week after that. We will spend the whole week on Chapter 12. Then probably the following week on 13 and 14, probably the week after that on 15 and 16, then the week after that on 17 and 18. You can see how it's going. All right? Okay, again, any questions, jpscott@rankin.edu. Good luck, and have a nice weekend. I will see you Monday.